You should put your cross back up. That's why somebody was messing with you last night in your sleep.
I have amethyst. We're good.
Oh, Lord help you.
Someone has to.
Right, because you're not helping yourself.
Hey, it's Mark.
And Ashley.
This is our podcast.
And we have
no
idea
what the F we're doing.
Clearly. So follow along while we try to figure out what it is that we're doing.
Or die trying.
This is What the F Are We Doing?
The podcast.
So this week, we're going to talk about, it's kind of a nerdy episode, I guess. Going to talk about Charmed versus Supernatural, which is funny because you're Charmed and I'm Supernatural. So nice glasses. Okay.
Well, we're doing a nerd episode, so. I've seen, I think, two.
You haven't seen very many episodes of
I've seen 2 seasons, I think. I saw the first season. I think I saw half of 2.
Well, season 1 is the best season anyway, so. It's definitely like the creepier one, and it's definitely
Bloody Mary was season 1, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That one still scares the shit out of me.
Have you ever seen Charmed?
I've never sat down and watched the whole thing. But I do know that the new Charmed that's out on CW is a piece of garbage compared to the old one.
Yes. I watched it reluctantly. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would, but if you compare the two, it is garbage. Like, if you just watch it and you don't say this is Charmed, and you just watch it, it's like, yeah, like, it's a show about witches, it's fine. But like, if you try to watch it as Charmed, it sucks.
Yeah. I saw literally like a small clip of it. Like, you know those like small clips that they put out? Yeah. And I was like, this is awful. This is a terrible representation of Charmed. Like, What are you doing?
Well, the one thing I think was that like the original really like drug stuff out like the proper way. Like, they would introduce new characters and you'd have to wait to find out who they were. Whereas this one, like, they would introduce the character and you're like, okay, this is who they are. This is their species or their magical practice, and it's just like everything is so like spoon fed that you don't get to like figure anything out for yourself, which I don't like.
But I also kind of feel like that's a lot of shows nowadays. Because if you literally, like, I feel like there's people want that instant gratification all the time in everything that they do. So they want it in TV shows, they want it in movies, they want it in books. They don't want that suspense to build, and they don't want to build that character. They just want to know right away.
Yeah. But I think the one thing that I liked about, one of the millions of things that I liked about Charmed, especially in the beginning, like, it was very much a show about sisters who happen to be witches. Like, there was always like magic in the background in warlocks / demons that were hunting them.
Right, but it was about the sisters.
Right, but that was never like the center. Like, it was always their relationship with each other, which I feel like is what let it go on for so long, is because that's a relationship that's always evolving. I have 2 sisters. I have 2 brothers. Family's fucking complicated.
Yeah, and that's kind of like Supernatural too. It was always about the brothers. In these later seasons, I feel like they're still trying to push that it's about the brothers, but they've definitely
they've strayed away from it a little bit.
Yeah, and they're really kind of focusing on like the whole religion aspect of it and everything else. For a little while it was fine to kind of like go into that and like do their own like theology and like stuff like that, and like that was fine. At some point you have to let it go. If you've run out of ideas, end the show, or come up with something new. Hell, honestly, I feel like most of the fandom would have been perfectly fine if they started doing Monster of the Week again, because I used to love those. Like season 1, Monster of the Week, I
Yep.
was set. I was good to go. And then they just had to go and like make
Yeah.
it this whole other thing. And
Which I think was
then
one
like,
thing
go ahead.
Charmed always stuck with, was that like there would be like an over, I don't arching, like there would be like a character, like a villain that like was a whole season or two, but they would be like in the background, and there would still be that demon or warlock or witch
Right.
hunter
There
of
was
the
the
week.
central overarching problem,
Right,
but there were also like the other things that they were also trying to do at the same time.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that helped them go as long as they did. And I also think one thing that some people complain about, most people like all four of them, but some people complained like when Prue was killed off and they brought in Paige. But I don't know that the show would have gone as long as it did if that didn't happen, because it kind of gave them like a refresh, and it gave them new storylines to explore, because now they have to not only welcome a new sister, but they have to teach her how to be a witch and how to battle demons, because they've had 3 years to learn, and now she's up against the same demons they are, and she's
And
fresh.
she's nowhere near ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even with like Supernatural, it's like I feel like they try to introduce these new characters, but they never do it in a way that would help the story along. I
Yeah.
mean, Jack, the introduction of Jack did. I did like Jack a lot, but at the same time, I just felt like they didn't use him in a way that really helped the show. I mean, it
Yeah.
made like fans fall in love with him, but it didn't really benefit the show that much.
Yeah. Well, that was, so they added Haley Kiyoko in season 8, which was the last season. And a lot of people and a lot of fans, like Tumblr, Twitter, everywhere, like despise her and somehow blame her for the show ending. But I'm like, I don't even necessarily think she was, I like her as an actress. I don't even think she had a bad character, but I think they gave her a weak storyline, and they let it, like they tried to make it the central storyline of the season, which was weird because the sisters were still alive. You know what I mean? Like there was no reason to pass the
Right.
gauntlet
When
when
they're
they,
still there.
right.
Yeah. I mean, that's like they did. Oh my God, what season was that? Was that season 13 maybe that they made? Or maybe it was season 14. I'm not really 100% sure.
And all,
I know the early seasons so well. Like I used to rewatch them all the time. I've seen at least from seasons 1 through 8 or 9 at least like 4 times. So it's like I know those really well for the most part, but like these newer seasons, I in truth have only watched them the one time. And even some of the episodes I didn't even watch because I was so over it and I was like, all right, I'm
yeah,
done. And it's like I love the show so much and I don't want it to end, but at the same time, I was like, you guys could have ended this a couple of years ago and
yeah.
you should have ended it.
Not to like jump genres, but that's where I'm at with Grays, just because it's where Supernatural is. Like it's been going for so long, and they keep losing central characters, and they keep trying to add new ones. And some of the new characters aren't that bad, but some of them are very forced. And they also have the spin-off show, which is about like the fire department in Seattle, and they keep like forcing these crossovers, and I'm like, I don't want to watch your show. Like if you didn't make
Right,
a show that was good enough to stand on its own, you shouldn't have spun it off, or you should let it end.
right. I mean, it's like, I just, Sam and Dean are the main characters,
Yeah.
but everybody wants to say, oh, this person is a main character. This person is a main character. No, they're not. Sam and Dean are the main characters. Yes, there are other central characters, but like everybody wants their favorite to be a main character. Everybody wants this person and this person and this person. And it's like, stop pulling the story away from what the story is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. Like, you know, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the new seasons, they bring back their mom, who hasn't been back in I don't know how long.
Didn't she
She was,
die?
yeah. And then they brought her back in like season 11 or something like that. And then they killed her off again. But she was the worst. She was the worst character ever. I hated their mom. And it's like, Mary was supposed to be that like bright character that like was a great part of the boys' lives and like this, that, and the other. And you know, they would tell you little backstories here and there about her, and like you could piece together who she was from that. But then they bring back the character, like she comes back to life, and it's like they just ruin her. They ruined the whole character. I hated her when she died. I was like,
Bye.
bye. Good, because you're an awful person. You're an awful character, and I hate you. Like,
So Kaylee Cuoco's sister on the show, not her real life sister, her name was Christy, and she was like supposed to be this like innocent thing, and then it turns out she's not. But yeah, she was awful. Like, I did not enjoy her character. I did not enjoy the arc. I didn't really particularly enjoy her portrayal. Like, she had moments, but I felt like overall every scene she was in, she just didn't fit. And so, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the finale of Charmed, she dies, and I cheered, which, I mean, you're kind of supposed to cheer because she is evil and manipulative, but like, I cheered a little bit more than when Barbas was vanquished.
no, it's like it's really sad because you know this is the last season, and it's been awful. Like, I don't even want to finish it because it's been like terrible. I mean, like I don't even sit down and watch it every week. I'm still like 2 episodes behind, and we're in quarantine, and I still haven't watched them because I'm just like,
Yeah. What I will
whatever.
say, I hope for Supernatural, even though I'm obviously nowhere near caught up, I don't know if I ever will be, but just because I know so many people love it, I'm hoping they do pull a Charmed, in the sense that the last season of Charmed was the worst season of Charmed, but the series finale was one of the best and one of my favorites that I've ever seen. Like, they managed to take a shitty season and still pull off an epic finale. So I'm hoping
And
Supernatural can do it.
that's what I'm hoping for, especially now because so they pushed the last, I think there's 5 episodes left. They pushed the last 5 episodes to this fall. So I'm like hoping that with this time that they've had off, that they kind of like go back through things and kind of like
Fine tune.
rework things and stuff and kind of get that feedback of like this season has been really freaking bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think what's crazy about Charmed for me is like, I was the same as you. Like, I had seen it in passing. Like, when I would come home from school, it'd be on like TNT or something, and I had no idea what was going on. I was just watching a random episode, and then I got to college and had Netflix, and I was in my dorm at a non-party school where everyone went home, and I had nothing to do. So I would just watch Charmed and write or do homework, and I like binged the whole series. And now I've seen it. I don't even know how many times, a shit ton. Even if you didn't know like the backstory of everything, you still could kind of pick a random episode and just watch. So I feel like they had like the best of both worlds, because like they have that background story that's ongoing to keep people coming back, but it's also fresh enough each episode that you could just turn it on and watch it if you wanted to.
Supernatural used to be that way. And then as it's gone on, it's like if you haven't, even sometimes when I'm caught up, I'll be like,
What's going on?
what's happening? Why is this happening? I'm so confused. There's just been a lot of twists and turns that I just can't follow.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But offer, and you know, as much as I say all that, it's at the same time like I love it so much. It, if not just for the first like seasons 1 through 5 or 6, like I love them Actually, I take that back. I do love season 8. Scruffy Dean is my favorite. Season 9, Scruffy Dean. Oh, God. Ready. I'll
Yeah.
watch those. Hell, I would watch. There's been times where I'm like, there's nothing on, and I'll just throw season 1 on.
Season 1 is honestly like its own, because I watched that season. It was like one kind of ongoing. It was kind of like an anthology series because like it
Yeah,
was like a villain of the week,
right.
but it was again like it was the same characters every episode. So it's kind of like you're watching to see what they're building up to
Well, and
and
I
what.
guess even season 2 was kind of that way too. A little less monster of the week, but still kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Um, well, and it's really interesting because it's supposed to end at season 5. Season 5 was supposed to be the series finale, and they kept going, but Kripke didn't keep going, and that's also kind of when it started to go downhill.
Yeah.
In closing, Charmed versus Supernatural. I mean, it's kind of hard because like we both think the other is better.
I'm not even going to say there's a winner. I feel like everyone should watch both. And I'm saying that even though I haven't finished Supernatural, I do think I will eventually get to it because I did enjoy the seasons I watched. I think I was watching with my ex and I felt like I was waiting for him and then he left me behind, both, in the relationship and on Supernatural. So I was kind of like, I'll get to it. And then I just never wanted to watch it again. But now, one, enough time has passed. Two, I don't really like a lot of new TV except for a few, so I have nothing else to watch. But I do think everyone should watch both. And they're both, I mean, they're similar. They're different. I think the styles are different. But I mean, you're dealing with siblings and the supernatural and good versus evil. And I feel like that's the mark of any good story. So,
Yeah, but we both agree that they're both really great.
yes, we agree that you should watch both. And if you have an opinion on one versus the other, or a point that we missed when we were
Or
having our
let us
battle,
know. Yeah, like I mean, I love to hear what other people have to say about it.
anybody want to hear a story? It wasn't that time. It was Seamus when we were fighting before.
Yeah, we did fight with Seamus. Yeah, because of he who shall not be named. Yes. Why didn't I like him? I don't even remember. All I know is I knew that I did not like him. He did not like me. We did not get along at all. And you were lying to your parents about it. And that's the person who you were telling your mom that you were with me.
Yep.
And we weren't hanging out. And I didn't even know. And your mom was like, oh, so you and Mark have been hanging out. And I was like, we have?
Have we?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't spoken to your son in like a month. I only came tonight because y'all asked me to come. Mark asked me to come and I said, no.
And then he and I left and like made out by the lockers and then met
Well,
back
then
up
we
with
went to dinner.
y'all.
We all went to dinner at
He
IHOP.
didn't come.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And you want to know how I know he did? Because I sat at the table with your family and I was talking to Mel and I looked over and y'all are like walking around under the table. I was talking to Brett and
I
Mel
forgot about that.
and I don't think Lilia was there. I think I was hanging out with Brett because I knew Brett the best. And the four of us were sitting there like just like chatting away and whatever else. And I look over and I was like, and Mel looked over too and she was like, oh my God. And I was like, I did not need to see what I just saw. I could have gone my whole life. And everybody at the table with you was pissed off because I sat with your family and not with you guys. And I was like, I didn't come here to be with you guys. I came here to be with the family because I'm not here to see any of y'all.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
good time.
I remember I went home and told my mom because I was pissed. But your mom wouldn't let me leave. Your mom was like, let's go to UDF and have some ice cream. And I was like,
You're like, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go home. She's like, no, let's go have some ice cream. And I was like, I mean, I guess so. And you were like, Mom, we need to go. And I was like, yeah, I need to go too. And she's like, no, we're going to go to UDF. And I was like, well,
Are we?
I guess we're going to UDF then. And that's how it all came out about you lying to your mom. And she goes, and I know Ashley won't lie to me. So, and I was like, I just looked over at you and I was like, you want to tell her or you want me to tell her? Because I'm not going to sit here and lie. And you were like, I'm not going to tell her. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm fucking telling her then. That was like halfway through that month that we weren't talking though. Right?
No, Seamus was when I got dumped.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Oh,
the
UDF was?
play.
Yeah.
The play was like, well, I want to say it was closer towards the end, like middle to end. And then I found out that Seamus was coming to town, and I was like, I really want to go see Seamus, but I don't want to go alone, and my mom won't go with me, so who am I going to go with? And she said, and I think it was her way of making me talk to you, because she's like, why don't you just ask Mark? Why would I want to ask Mark? I'm not talking to Mark right now. Nobody else would go. So I text you. Literally, all I said was, I'm still mad at you. Like, we're still not friends right now, but I need somebody to go with me. So are you gonna go or what?
Keep in mind, I was still grounded at this point.
Oh, right. But your mom let you go because it was me.
Yes.
Because it was actually me this time. Yeah.
I remember I asked her, and she was like, yeah, right. And I texted her. I'm like, you have to text her because she doesn't believe me.
I know. Well, no, you called. You were like, you have to tell my mom that it's actually you because she doesn't believe me. I was like, we're not talking. We're not friends. Still mad at you. And then somehow we started talking again. And we started talking about him.
That was when I hadn't heard from him for like a week.
Yeah, and then what happened when we were standing in line?
I'm sitting there in line. No, we were standing at that point. So I think that was like right when the line started moving.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked down at my phone and I don't even remember reacting. I think it was kind of like a, huh. And you were like, what? And I just handed you my phone and I was like, I'm single.
Well, we talked about how you were like, well, I think I'm going to break up with him. And I was like, you should do it now. You should do it
because
like,
you were like, you should do it before
right
he
now.
does. And I'm like, you're right. But what did I say? I was like, I don't want to do it in a text message. And then I got a text.
And then you got a text message. And literally my face, I just remember being like, I told you. I don't like to say I told you so, but.
That was the first of 2 times I got dumped in a text message.
Yep.
That one didn't bother me though, because I was already done.
You were kind of forced to be done with that one though.
Yeah.
You didn't really have a choice.
Years later, because like that was when I was 17. This was when I was like 21, 22. Mm-hmm. Becca and I were going through a drive-thru in Amelia, and I recognized the voice when we ordered, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And we're like pulling around the corner, and I saw him in the drive-thru window, and I'm like, Becca, because she wasn't around for that yet. She and I weren't friends yet, so she had no idea who he was. And I'm like, it's my ex. She was like, who the fuck is that kid? I've never seen him in my life.
But yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you what like, if I saw him today, I wouldn't know it was him. I would have no idea.
I probably wouldn't now, because it's been 8 years. Huh.
That's a long time.
We're old.
We are.
Too old for that shit.
So then we went to Horror Hound because you knew, well, our theater teacher was the sister of an actor / stuntman. So he got us into Horror Hound for free.
Yes.
And basically, we were kind of VIP, kind of not.
Yeah. Because we didn't have to wait in line, but we didn't have
anything.
Like access to anybody. But like we got to go to his table, which was like in the room with like other people. So like if there were people that weren't doing like paid meet and greets, they just had a table that you could walk up to.
Like, well, he kind of introduced us to all those people though.
He did. He introduced us to that tall guy, but I can't remember what he was from.
And then we found John Carpenter in a random room in the basement.
Which the only reason we found him was because we found someone I knew from Facebook who did like all of like the reunion, and he and I became Facebook friends somehow. I don't remember how. And so I knew him and I saw him and we started talking. And I made like a comment about missing John's VIP. And he was like, no, he's still going. He was like, they moved him to like some small room, but he's still going. So he like gave us directions on how to get down there. Thank God, because we would have never found it.
No, there was no way we were going to find that. Because I mean, it was like this random small tiny room in the basement. And then who else did we see there?
We saw, I can't remember the character's name, but she was the blonde girl from Halloween 5. She was like the best friend of the babysitter.
I don't remember her.
We
didn't take a picture with her.
No, but we talked to her for a minute. We saw the Christine car.
Yeah, and then I got ran over on the stairs.
We're walking like through the main concourse of this, I don't know what convention center. Yeah.
I don't even know what building we were in. I don't know where we were. I don't remember.
This man in a hood and sunglasses like bulldozes Ashley. Like she stays planted.
Well,
like, hit her like a brick wall. Like he kind of
literally
back and looked shocked for a second that he didn't knock her over.
Well, no, I remember hearing like, so we were walking towards the stairs and I just remember hearing like commotion. These people screaming and I was like,
they were chasing this man.
Right. And I was like, what is going on? And like, you know, you walk, like we were walking down the stairs and I didn't see anybody. And then all of a sudden there's this man that just like runs into me. And I was like, okay, sure.
You literally said out loud, you said, excuse you. And this...
He was like, I'm so sorry. He felt so bad. I was like, hello? There's somebody standing here. And I was wearing like a bright blue sweatshirt. Like, you could not miss me. And then he kept going. He was like, I'm so sorry. Upstairs. Oh my God. Like, are you okay? And he's like still going up the stairs at the same time.
We went down, we met John, and then we went back up. We saw the hooded man without the sunglasses sitting at a table, and it was Michael Rooker from Dawn of the Dead and The Walking Dead. And
I was like, oh my God, I love him. Oh my God, I just got run over by Michael Rooker. It's fine. I'm fine with that.
The best part is that he was running away from crazed fans, and he literally ran into one of his fans, and she had no idea.
None. And nobody else knew it. Nobody else was around except that one security guard. And she just kept following him, and she didn't even stop to make sure I was okay. And I was like, oh, okay.
Fuck me, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
You know what we forgot to mention about Seamus, though?
You mean when you dropped your phone?
We're like walking up to meet Seamus, the wrestler, like big, burly Irish man. And he has like an equally intimidating like security guard next to him. And I think I was trying to put my phone away. I was trying to give it to Ashley to take my picture. And I'm clumsy, and I had this like big behemoth of an Android at the time.
You were still using an Android.
And so like I pull it out of my pocket, skinny jeans, and I just like throw it under the signing table. And I'm not thinking about it. Like I just go to crawl under the table where Seamus is sitting to retrieve my phone. The security guard is like in like defensive stance, like ready to strike me.
He was ready to come at you.
And Seamus was like, no, it's good. And I kind of like came back out and I looked around and I was like, I dropped my phone. All right, guys.
Seamus gave 0 fucks. Somehow we always have these things happen to us.
Every time. There's something about us being together that just throws the universe wacky.
Then why are we friends?
Because we like the universe to be a little wacky. It's time for Random AF. Book or movie?
Okay. And I love movies. Like I like when things are made into movies, But I always just, I just feel like books, you can, when you're reading a book, you can make it yourself. You can
It's almost like you're directing the movie.
Right, like you're creating it. Yes, the author has created the world for you, but you're envisioning it yourself. Whereas, the movie, they're telling you what it is. So, okay, so book or movie?
When it comes to book versus film adaptation of a book. Overall, probably movie. I think the director part of me enjoys both because I can read a book and like I can picture how I'd make the movie in my head. But I also like watching the movies and like one studying them, but also being like, "Ooh, like that was a really cool shot." Like I feel like I get to enjoy movies differently than like the average viewer, which is cool.
Would you rather give up sex or give up food?
Food. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so quick on that.
But then how do you get nutrition? Is sex your nutrition?
There is protein in parts.
Ew. Ew. You're disgusting. We already talked about how I don't like to do that.
I mean, I don't love to do it, but I mean, if I get to keep the happiest thing on earth, then yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, my choice is sex too. I'm just saying. Nasty.
Have you ever scrolled on someone's camera roll and seen something that you shouldn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also accidentally shown something I shouldn't, so that was good.
I haven't done that. But there's a reason that when I'm showing somebody a photo that I actually will screenshot it and then or I'll move it into a separate folder and be like, here you go.
I should.
So that they can't scroll.
I should probably do that.
Would you rather fuck on the first date or have to wait for 6 months?
Fuck on the first date.
So, as someone who has done, well, I don't know. I guess I can count the one as having done it on the first date and then having to wait. I was very frustrated, but I think that it made our relationship better having not. Because I just feel like sometimes if you rush into it, then that's all that can be all that your relationship becomes.
Have you ever stolen anything?
No, I didn't. Haven't, didn't, I don't know. It was never my thing. I know people who did, and I was always like,
Yeah.
No thanks. Did you ever steal anything?
I did, but not on purpose. Not.
No. I have to tell your mom.
She was with me. So listen, I was at Cedar Point, and it was like at the end of the night. I was like, well, I'll probably be hungry. Like, I'll get a snack at like their gift shop. So I went to buy a Kit Kat, and like I was getting my wallet out. I had the Kit Kat, and I dropped my wallet. And like I got everything together. I put my wallet in my pocket, and then I'm like, well, where'd the Kit Kat go? I thought like I put it back when I put my wallet away. So I grabbed a Kit Kat, took my wallet out, paid. I get in the car, and then when I sit, I feel a crunch in my pocket. So when I put my wallet back in my pocket, I also put the first Kit Kat back in my pocket with the wallet. And then I get in the car. I was probably like 16. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, Mom, I have to take it back. Like I stole this Kit Kat. She's like, they are not going to let you back into the park to return a Kit Kat. We're going home.
Have you ever fallen in public?
Yeah.
When?
Which times? Let's review. December 26th, the one year. I'm just so specific with this.
You are very specific. I love how you have an actual date and everything.
I remember because it was the day after Christmas, and my brother was like, let's see like what's on clearance at the mall or whatever. So we went to Eastgate, and I like stepped up on a curb, and the parking lot was not AC at all. Just this one little corner of the curb stepping up by the food court, and my legs just went and I like scraped my arm real bad on the concrete. Oh my God, my favorite time. Sorry, this is my last one.
No, you're good.
I fell at work. And when I tell you I fell, I mean, so we have those like super tall like office chairs that are almost like office chair meets bar stool. And it has like the ring around like kind of like a footrest. Well, somehow my chair got switched. So the footrest was lower than I expected. And so I went to like brace myself to stand up on the edge and my feet missed. And I'm like talking to my coworker and she just sees me go and disappear. And I slid under my desk at work, like a slide.
Oh God. Oh no. I think my favorite story of falling in public though. So do you remember in high school my knee kept giving out? So my knee kept giving out in high school after I had that injury. And one of the times that it gave out when it started getting really, really bad was actually at Disney. So for anybody that has gone to Disney World, the place that I fell was there's this hill that leads down to the entrance of Splash Mountain. And there's this like shop over on the side, and there's like a fence along the side, but there's like this wide path and it goes down into a hill. I fell going down this hill because my knee decided to lock up in the middle in the middle of this walkway with all of these people. It's Christmas time, so it's even more packed. Like, fell in the middle of Disney World and like could not move because when my knee would lock up, I couldn't walk for like 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm like trying to like crawl over to the side, and everybody was like looking at me like, is this girl okay? She just wiped out. Yep. Good times.
Good times. If you could have 3 wishes granted by a genie in a bottle, what would they be?
I don't know.
Wow.
I feel like this is really hard because what do you wish for? Because
Right?
you can't wish for unlimited wishes. That's always a stipulation.
Plus, genies are actually very tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Can't trust them. So you have to like
Nope.
write your wish out and make sure there's no way they can twist it.
Right.
Friggin' genies.
I would probably wish.
I would wish for inspiration to finally get a book done. I'm gonna sound like a fucking beauty queen. World peace.
Okay, Cheryl.
And I would wish for to only have 2 wishes. I would wish to only have 2 wishes.
I think that, okay.
Does that count?
Sure. Why not? You can always free the genie. I mean, you know.
But some genies get freed by making the person that's freeing them become the genie. So I don't want to get stuck in a bottle.
That's true.
So
Depends on the genie.
That's true. I could wish for the genie to SMD.
Go ahead. If that's what you want. I think I would say I wish that I had the ability to go back in time so I could like visit those eras. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. More hours in a day, because I feel like there are not enough hours in a day.
No.
And an unlimited supply of books.
No, don't.
Leave me alone. Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Me. Duh.
I feel like nobody could play us better than we play ourselves. But
Plus, I
like,
don't know. Who looks like me?
nobody.
I used to get David Archuleta, but one, he doesn't do a lot of acting.
I don't see that though.
Yeah, I don't either though.
I don't see that.
I
I
think I
used to
found one
get
once.
I used
Hold
to
on,
get a
let
lot
me
of Selena Gomez when I was younger with dark hair.
I would have
But
to
I don't see that anymore.
find my celebrity.
You're cheating.
That's
Find
not
my celebrity lookalike.
okay, ma'am. You Googled wishes, so this is what happens when we're recording at 12:40 at night in the morning. Excuse me,
Who would it say?
Tim McGraw.
I'm gonna go with no.
I'm like, I don't even know some of these. Chase Crawford. I'll take it. I don't see
He
it, but
he plays Nate on
I know him.
Gossip Girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it, but I'll take
I
it.
don't see. Well, okay. Actually, I can see that a little bit.
Okay, Chase Crawford.
One that I've gotten in the past is Emily Blunt.
I see it.
I'll go with that. I think that works. She's pretty badass, so.
She's a little bit British, but do you fake orgasms often?
No. I don't have to.
Ooh. Ooh.
I have in the past, only because I had to, because that person was very selfish. While it was still good, it was still very selfish. So I felt like I had to get it over with. Have you ever faked an orgasm?
Not technically.
Or should I say, do you do it often?
Not anymore. I used to, and it wasn't technically faking one, but it was faking why I wasn't having one. The reality is, most of the time, they just weren't good. But I would say, oh, like I got off earlier before I came here, like I wasn't sure like if we were going to do anything. So I would just use the excuse that I already got off as why I wasn't getting off, which sometimes that really was the case, but sometimes like it was just that they fucking sucked. So sorry.
If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
I feel like, well, no. Well, yes.
If you need to say multiple people, you can. Like I
Well,
say like limit like 3.
probably Lincoln.
Why?
I feel like he was very intelligent. He was very well spoken. And I feel like to get the chance to sit with him and just have like a dinner conversation while you're eating in the White House would be pretty dang cool.
Yeah. I can see that. I think mine would be kind of a tie between Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and Stephen King. Especially Marilyn Monroe though, just because she was so criticized and like people thought she was this dumb like actress who didn't know anything, but she was actually really intelligent, and just to like talk to her and like see how she navigated through that time and just became like so successful and stuff like that. So
thank you for getting down and nerdy with us. If you like what you're hearing, it only gets nerdier and dirtier from here.